Welcome to our second roster and schedule reveal of the week. Today we're looking at the 13th ranked Cal Poly Mustangs. Now let's get right into it. Offense, sophomore quarterback Eric Spears Jr., 84 overall. He is the backup quarterback. He lost the starting position to Alexander Connor in the spring game before year one. But for his freshman season, he threw for over 500 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks. He also ran for 124 yards and 5 scores. Now, most of those numbers were against backups, while the Mustangs were having a big lead, having a nice day against some lesser opponents. And their starting quarterback, Alexander Connor, threw for over 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, but he has 26 interceptions last season. So he's going to need to cut that number down, cut it in half most likely, for his team to be as successful this season, because the rest of the Pac-10 has gotten quite good. And Connor also ran for 633 yards and 10 scores. He has an 82 overall, and he will continue to be the Mustangs starting quarterback. But Eric Spears Jr. always ready to hit that field in case Connor gets suspended or injured. Moving on to the halfback, Raul Lozano III, one of the most versatile players in the entire country. 1,456 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns last year, 43 broken tackles. He did fumble the football 7 times, though. He's going to have to improve that number this season. And he also had 35 catches for 713 yards. That's good for a 20.3 average, and 7 touchdown receptions on the season. He also had the longest reception of the year for the Mustangs with a 73-yard touchdown. And only 1 drop on the season for him as well. So a very versatile halfback, and I'm looking forward to his sophomore year. Moving on to the receivers, Desmond Lewis. He has an 80 overall, as well as Raul Lozano III. I don't think I mentioned that. But Desmond Lewis, 5'11", 191 pounds, not the biggest receiver, but he had 41 catches, 894 yards last season, 6 touchdowns, and 3 drops on the year. And he also returned some kicks for the Mustangs. 28 kick returns, 802 yards, and a long of 96, which was a touchdown return. And moving on to Malik Higgins, 78 overall. He's 6'4", 221 pounds, the sophomore receiver. He led the team in catches with 45. He had 1,176 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns. He averaged 26.1 yards per catch. He had a long of 64, averaged 90.4 yards per game, but he had 11 drops on this season. He needs to get better in that regard. He also fumbled the football twice, so he definitely has some room to improve, but on special teams, he made the biggest impact. 1,009 kick return yards on 29 returns, good for a 34.8 yard average, a long of 99, and 4 kick returns for scores. And on the punt return side, 39 punt returns, 415 yards, a long of 55, and another score. So 5 special teams touchdowns for Malik Higgins to go along with his 9 touchdown receptions, 14 total touchdowns, and he is a beast. Now, moving on to tight end, Tyler Chandler. He was a 4-star tight end coming out of high school, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this young man can do. He's 6'5", 232 pounds, 76 overall. And there is another freshman over here, Tom Shafer. He's listed as special teams. Long snapper is his primary. He will be the tight end as well. 6'6", 298 pounds, 78 overall. And to round out the offense, Dan Williamson, sophomore guard. He was just so phenomenal last season. 111 pancakes, only 1 sack allowed all year. He won the award for best offensive lineman. He was first team All-American, first team All-Pac-10, freshman All-American. Absolute stud. And he has an 80 overall. And moving on to the defensive side of the football, sophomore defensive end Demarius Lamache, 31 tackles, 18 for a loss, 11 sacks. He also had 2 interceptions. He's doing his best Julius Peppers impression. He also had 2 pass deflections, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery. He was just all over the field for this defense, and he has an 84 overall. He is a fantastic athlete. At defensive tackle, Greg Ford, 85 overall, 28 tackles last year, 19 for a loss, 7 sacks. He also had a pick. And 1 pass deflection, 1 forced fumble. Just a monster at defensive tackle. And the other defensive tackle, Paxton Erdley, 24 tackles, 10 for a loss, 5 sacks. Pass deflection, a forced fumble, 2 recovered. So these defensive linemen are just stout. They're just so good. And at outside linebacker, freshman Jade Washington. Coming out of high school, he was a 4-star prospect. He's 6'4", 246 pounds, and he's got a 76 overall, and he gives the Mustangs some much-needed help at the linebacker position. At corner, Joseph Lozano, the sophomore, he led the team in tackles with 53. He had 2 for a loss, 4 picks, 108 return yards, 18 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 pick sixes on the year. And he is a huge hitter. Definitely one of the biggest hitting corners I've ever seen. And he has a 78 overall. And the final player, sophomore free safety, Ralph Williams. He's 6'2", 212 pounds. He's got an 84 overall. He was second in tackles with 52. He also had 2 for a loss, but he had 8 interceptions on the year, returned for 72 yards. He had 17 pass deflections, 4 forced fumbles, and no defensive touchdowns for him. But between Lozano and William, it is one of the hardest hitting secondaries in the country, and I am looking forward to it. Head coach Raul Lozano, 11-2. They won the Sugar Bowl against Jacksonville. They won the Pac-10. How can they improve? Let's take a look at their Year 2 schedule. And there it is. They start off. This is a rough stretch for them. They host New Mexico State Week 2. That's their first game. And then after that, 2 straight away games against subscriber teams. They travel to take on the 23rd ranked Jacksonville Dolphins in a rematch from the Sugar Bowl. That's going to be a fun game to commentate. I'm really looking forward to that one. And then they go on to travel to 16th ranked VMI. So they keep going back to the East Coast. And that one is going to be a good game as well. VMI is stacked. Not a lot of subscribers pick players on that team, but their defense looks really nasty. And after that game, week number 6, they start their conference play against Idaho State. After that, against San Diego. That's a home game for Cal Poly. And they just have a slew of Pac-10 games, which all of them are winnable for Cal Poly. But a lot of subscriber games. Let's count them. Jacksonville, VMI, San Diego, Northern Colorado, Southern Utah. So 5 subscriber games for Cal Poly. It's going to be a rough season for them. But they should probably be in the top 3 for the Pac-10 again. They did win it, and I think they have a pretty good shot at winning it again. But you've got upstart UC Davis coming back. They had a great defense last year. They need to fix their offense. And luckily for Cal Poly, they don't have to face them in the regular season. And the final game for them, they'll be traveling to take on Texas Southern. That's an SEC school. So I'm thinking Cal Poly might win 9 or 10 games again this season, before bowl season, obviously. So they have a really good chance at the Pac-10 again. You might see them in the Sugar Bowl again. It'd be really cool to see Jacksonville take on Cal Poly again. I think the winner of the Cal Poly and Jacksonville game might have a really good shot at getting to the national championship game. But I'm not going to make any crazy predictions here. But I'm really looking forward to that game. I know head coach Marvin Joseph of the Jacksonville Dolphins is looking forward to that one as well. And I think that VMI game is going to be really interesting. They have some struggles on offense, the Cadets do. And Cal Poly, of course, has a loaded offense, and their defense looks even better this season with the addition of Jade Washington. And their special teams, of course, is reinforced by long snapper Tom Shafer. So he was the #1 long snapper in the country coming out of high school. And we will be seeing every punt for the Cal Poly Mustangs. I know there wasn't a lot last season, but we will see you out there, Tom. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments section below your prediction for the Cal Poly Mustangs record for season number 2. And I will see you guys tomorrow with the Dayton Flyers roster reveal and schedule reveal video. That's going to be a fun one as well. I'll see you guys then. Take it easy.